What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Uh, yes. How is it better? Great. This means that you guys can see me properly, right? I don't want it to be that you guys are struggling to see me. Welcome back to everybody who missed me yesterday. Congratulations, because you have me back today with so much eagerness, so much to talk about, so much to do on stream today. I'm hyped. I missed streaming yesterday, not because I wanted to, but because the VPN yesterday was very, very bad. You know, if you live in Russia, you will understand that we have a problem of VPN. So if the VPN is not good, then it makes no sense. I mean, I can stream if I have an audience on Twitch or Kick, but most of my audience is on YouTube. So I only stream when my YouTube is active. If my YouTube is not active, there's no point in going live because, your boy reacts to a lot of videos on YouTube. So it only makes sense if my YouTube is working, which I really hope is working. If you guys can see me, please say hello. I want to be able to know if I'm not just talking to myself. And that. Let me know how things are going with you guys. How's your day? How's today's Monday? No, today's Sunday. How's your weekend been? Mine has been normal, stressful a bit, but not bad. Nothing we can handle. How's yours going? I hope you guys are having a splendid weekend. The weather got better in Moscow, and we were excited because it kind of got warm, and everybody who got used to the cold for a couple of days, like me and anybody who felt sick during these times, became very glad that the weather got better. So let's hope that it stays this way for a while, and everything will continue in this direction at least for the end of August, we hope. But I doubt. I think it's going to be like things are not working. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Things are not working perfectly this period because of the network. My VPN has been a struggle, but I'm hoping that it will continue to reconnect until it becomes very stable. Otherwise, I'm going to miss another stream today, but I've already checked and I made up my mind and said, there's no point in missing another stream today. Otherwise, or if I keep waiting for a perfect condition, I will never get this stream started. You get? I'm trying to cross check to see if you guys can see my chat, but apparently nobody can see my chat. I'm the only one that is seeing my chat, chat GPT, chat, chat, chat GPT. But anyways, we have a lot of videos we want to react to today on YouTube. The science behind dating apps. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
Women swipe right 5 times less than men do, but you'd do the same if your dating feed looked like this. To understand why most men can't book a date online, we must first understand what makes a bad profile in the first place. So let's analyze a few of them. In these examples on screen, they lack versatility. As shown in this 2019 study, people generally want to see dating profiles that show what that person looks like, show cues about their hobbies and personality, and are distinctive from other dating profiles. So in other words, profiles that are bland and don't reveal much about the person perform worse. Now you might argue that they would get more likes if they looked better, but then we have this guy, a girl who stumbles upon his
For what is worth, I think women actually seek for more connection more than men. Except that they are very, very selective and they are careful with their decisions. Men are very careless. As much as we want connection, we're very careless with our picks because we can be deceived by what we see and we will not have a proper decision with the clarity of mind just because we have been deceived by what we see. So it's totally different for women. It's just my opinion.
Profile can't get the slightest idea about his personality. Plus, his dating profile is abused with selfies. According to the dating company Hinge itself, selfies lower your chances of getting a like by 40% compared to non-selfies. But now, what about these profiles? In theory, they have versatility, but they're still bad, right? Well, they lack media richness. Basically, low-quality photos make people perceive you as less physically attractive. Now, if you made these mistakes already, you probably received a lot of left swipes. This
I actually think low quality photos make people perceive you as a scam. You know, if you have a low quality picture on a dating app, most people would probably think that you're just some catfisher who didn't take a picture or using somebody's picture because you probably screenshot it and then you're trying to act like you're this person. But a good quality picture is more convincing, be it selfie, be it full picture. It's totally more convincing, not comparable to low quality picture that you just probably go from some place on Google and you expect people to actually believe you, which I think is just what it is. I would any day, anytime take a much better original selfie than a full on low quality picture, even if you're wearing a Louis Vuitton on that picture.
damaged your dating score and probably got you shadow banned. The problem is, the shadow ban will not only affect your current dating app, but also follow you onto other dating apps as well. Let me explain. Companies like Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, and Meetic are not exactly individual entities. They're all owned by a single parent company called Match Group, who is managed by
Wait. Okay, that's very, very strange. Feels like we're all controlled by these dating app owners. If they're owned by the same company, then what is the point of creating separate dating apps? What is their goal? What are they trying to achieve? If they are owned by this, they have Hinge, they have Tinder, they have Badoo, they have a few of them, like what's the point of creating different dating apps? Why not just focus all your energy in one of those dating apps and give it your all? I'm trying to understand. Does he mean that the name or the title of these dating apps kind of make people select the kind of apps that they want to be a part of? So something is fishy in this place. It feels like we're being controlled. Can somebody explain something like this to me properly, please?
this dude called Spencer Raskoff. Now, because Match Group owns almost all dating apps, your score will follow you across multiple platforms. But how does this score work anyway? When you first make an account to one of these apps, you get something called the newbie boost. Basically, the algorithm doesn't know how attractive you are, so it'll aggressively show your brand new profile to a bunch of users. If you only get a few matches, you'll be given a low score. If you get many matches, you'll be given a high score. If you get many matches with very attractive people, you'll be given a very high score. The higher your score, the more your profile is shown across the platform. But besides your match rate, your score can also be hurt by your behavior on the app. At the end of the day, all of these apps are social media businesses. Their goal is to keep their users as engaged as possible. Now, the most common problem that makes people leave a dating app is the frequency of bots. So if you, a real person, start doing bot behavior like swiping
Why
in
is
just
that
one
guy swiping
direction,
like that?
never looking at all the pictures of a profile, never messaging the matches you got, you'll look very suspicious. So the app will punish you by lowering your score. On the other hand, if you do the opposite, you'll obviously increase it. Now, of course, this is
Also, they don't just lower your score because of your bad habits in the app. If you don't pay, there's a premium subscription. I'm pretty sure you guys that has used dating apps will definitely know that the premium subscription kind of gives you more chances. It pushes you in the face of people. I've never used it before. I've always seen the offer to use it, but I just never. It's like paying for a VPN. I just paid for a VPN for the first time in my life recently because I wanted to start using YouTube here. It's just one of those things that if you pay, You get more scores, you get more chances for swipes, better swipes. They will give you what you described in the beginning when you created the account that you want. But if you don't pay, you will get what they give you. You literally eat what they serve you to the table.
Is an oversimplification of how the complex match group algorithm actually works. Besides the attractiveness score, there are other methods used to establish who gets to see your profile and who doesn't. Now, the good news is that those mistakes I mentioned earlier will not affect you permanently. According to Match Group, deleting your profile for 90 days actually resets your score, so it's just a matter of time. What should you do in the meantime? Work on getting better photos. You see, a great profile signals that you have all the pillars of a high sexual market value. Number 1, looks and age. The body language experts Vanessa Van Edwards.
I think a good profile picture works in every area of life. It's not just in the dating apps. If you have a good profile picture on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn page, on your resume, you have a higher chance of getting picked first, even before your mental knowledge or your um qualifications or your educational qualifications, just because of how you dress, just because of how you look on your profile pictures per se.
Analyzed over 50 sexiest men alive photos and found that eye squinting is the most recurring pattern that appears in all of them. This
This is very true because, before I used to think it doesn't matter how I look to people, but sooner or later I figured out that that saying that they always say that people will address you based on the way you look and based on the way you dress the more I grow up, the more I realize that is actually very, very true. And if you don't dress, if you wear some expensive things, people actually accord you some certain respect, even without knowing who you are, even without knowing what's in your bank account, even if you don't have money, they don't care. Just because you look good or you dressed expensive, even if you wear the most random, not stylishly styled outfits, just because they're expensive, people give you more respect. And if you look good as a person, as a man, I'm focused on men. If you look good as a man, you're very well shaped, your hair looks nice, you're dressed properly, maybe simple, maybe not expensive, you get more respect, you get more attention, you get more uh, recognition from people just because of the way you dress. Even though you can be a psychopath, nobody really cares at that point. They just pay attention to what you're wearing before what you have upstairs.
makes you look more attractive and confident. But besides this pattern, a study from Hinge discovered that standing alone, smiling without teeth, and looking ahead elevates your chances of getting a like by 11, 43, and 102% respectively. Also, you can try a black and white photo. Apparently, they increase your like chances by 106% and are only used by 3% of people. Number 2, personality. According to Hinge, a sports photo increases your chances of receiving a like by 45%. Now, a lot of dating profiles tend to also show their pets to express their personality, but I'll be careful in this case.
Its sports photo can be attractive and at the same time it can be intimidating because the person that you are trying to attract might actually think you're going to be intimidating, especially the person that doesn't have a healthy lifestyle. They will not think, I need to match this kind of energy that this guy is portraying. He looks very healthy, looks like he works out and goes to the gym a lot. And there you are eating a lot of McDonald's, trying to just find an emotional partner, but now you're trying to find a fitness partner. So it has a plus and a minus. It can be attractive, at the same time, it can be intimidating. And that's true, actually.
It is scientifically proven that men who care for children and pets are perceived as high quality mates. But it's also proven that a photo with you holding a cat will make women perceive you as less masculine and less desirable. So, between a photo with a dog and a cat, go for the one with the dog. Number 3, status and resources. You can demonstrate both of them by posting photos in exotic/beautiful locations. Number 4, game, aka
I feel like if you're posting a picture from a lot exotic locations or beach locations, it feels like you're doing too much now. You're trying to order farm now. You're trying to show status. I feel like it's doing too much. That's why it has a very small percentage because it's just way over the line.
A. Flirting skills. Here you can use a date POV photo. This is a highly effective photo that shows her how a date with you would look like. If you want me to personally rate and help you build your dating profile, check out my school community. Now that we're done with the pictures, it's time to improve your bio. This is the part she'll read after you win her over with the picture. So its first job is to not ruin the attraction. That's why you should leave most of the optional parts like religion, politics, drinking/smoking habits blank. It creates more mystery and doesn't give her any reason to swipe left on you. But then we have the prompts. If they're boring, you're perceived as boring. In 2020, Hinge released a list with the best 25 prompts based on how often they lead to conversation. Of course, it's still gonna be harder to naturally start a conversation online compared to a real life situation, but
Do people still wear suits when going on a first date? I think it's like things of 15, 20 years ago, or things that only rich people do now. Very average common men don't really wear suits with bow tie with ties to go for dinners anymore. Not because it's not available, just because it's probably not in trend anymore. They feel like it's not so cool anymore the way it used to be. Then you were perceived as a very serious man. Or does it have something to do with age? You know, I'm a bit confused there because it used to be very common before. If you're going on a date with somebody for the first time, you're dressed very well, you're wearing corporate. We used to call it corporate. I'm Nigerian, so forgive me, we call it corporate. But now you can literally see somebody wearing a winter jacket, wearing a jeans, not even a button down, just some random shirts. I've seen people wearing a football jersey to go on a first date or after talking to somebody for a long time. I mean, it's literally different for different people. It's no longer as hyped as it used to be before. Maybe it's because of the trend that changed, or maybe people are just not attracted to the physical appearance anymore, rather than what's in the pocket.
that's not actually bad news. For the last decade, social media was the #1 place where couples met. But nowadays, it seems like Gen Z is seeking to bring back the third place. A physical space outside of home, the first place, and work the second place, where people can meet and build connections. For example, there's a run club called Lunge Run Club that operates as a dating environment. At their events, single runners wear black and taken runners wear white. So it was easy to know who's open to being approached and who isn't. Now, if you want to learn how to approach someone you like, I know the perfect video for you.
I think this is actually a very good initiative because it's going to bring back the dating culture instead of people being lonely online, looking for a partner, struggling. Because it's in this dating sites era that people have become more lonely, that people have become more desperate for connection because they don't even have normal connections in their daily lives. But taking this back to the streets kind of makes you immediately in the first 5 minutes understand somebody when you meet them. That way you would know if you will even have a first date, talk more of a second date. But through dating sites, you don't really know. You just chat with somebody. Somebody can actually put up a character on a chat for 2, 3, 5 months until you guys finally meet, and then you feel like, damn, I'm disappointed. This is not who I expected it to be, or this is not who you look like on a dating app profile picture. But now in recent times, having this kind of get together is actually very, very interesting and encouraging. This is the way we should go. Great video, by the way. What do you guys think? Let me know. I'm curious to hear your opinions. Do you think dating apps are the best options now to find a partner? To me, events, gathering in some areas, parties are not really the best, but like real events where you would actually get to talk to people, have real conversations, and not just dancing with loud music in the background, playing over your ears. But like events where you guys get to talk, you get to spend less time looking at your phone, less time sitting down alone, just having real connections, like the long run is a good initiative. Something similar to this is very, very nice and should be encouraged. Great video. Let me know what you guys think. Moving on. Chinese people are back again.
Are you wet? Well, your skin is.
China's disturbing face dots disaster.
Are you wet? Well, your skin is not wet enough, okay? It needs to be hydrated. It needs to be clean. And I've got just the thing for you. Recently, a new device has gained massive popularity in China's beauty influencer circle. And I swear, every time I look at Douyin, someone's always finding another unnecessary method trying to declare war on their skin. But this one, we've never seen before. It's called the water light gun. Judging purely from that name, you would probably think that this is just some harmless little device, right? Maybe it just sprays.
Why are Chinese people constantly looking for something to do to their face? Chinese influencers. It feels like they are doing a competition of who is going to invent something that is going to damage the face or damage the body on the long run. It's too consistent now that we're almost thinking it's a competition between these influencers. And the moment they do it, people that follow them actually start doing it and repeating it, then it spreads. And because China is a very populated country, it gets very popular very quickly. They're not even on YouTube actively. They have their own WeChat and all of those things, but still we get these trends reaching the rest of the world. Like this is becoming very strange and worrying, honestly.
Water. No, it's a needle gun for your face. And people would buy this needle gun off of underground marketplaces, start stamping it on themselves every single day at home, hoping for that glowy skin. And just a few weeks later, people started ending up with these dots and bumps going across
What is this? This looks very disgusting. Damn.
their face, sort of like acne. These dots and bumps would start spreading and growing across their entire face, and even later on started darkening. It was uncontrollable to the point where it even spreaded down to people's necks. And that's how millions of people started getting stuck with these faces full of dots and bumps. Yeah, so water light injections have recently gone.
I feel my body feels very heated just looking at that. What do you call this? This irritating feeling. What's the word? Is he? Could you? Yeah, I don't remember the word, but like my body. Oh damn.
Gone viral on Douyin and all of Chinese social media. It's basically a new, quick, and convenient device that'll give you extremely glowy, hydrated, and dewy looking skin. Basically, the goal is to get that ridiculously smooth glass skin appearance where your face will look like it's shining. This was also supposed to completely fill up your pores and cover everything up so that it looks invisible, which, by the way, is impossible. But sellers started packaging these treatments into water light beauty packages, complete with the water light gun itself, the liquid ingredients to inject into your face, and step-by-step instructions. And there were basically two ways people were getting access to it. The first method was going into these private WeChat groups, buying everything from unknown suppliers, then going back home and injecting it yourself.
The self medication is getting crazy actually because it's becoming very common now that they just read things online how everybody's becoming a surgeon these days. What's up with you guys? Why is everybody becoming a surgeon? Like you buy something, you read about it online, and then you start doing it on yourself. You don't even care about making mistakes and the repercussions or the consequences that comes with making a mistake on the procedures you're performing on your face. People don't care about the delicacy of these things and the consequences that comes with it. They just go ahead, do it because it's a trend, and like, bro, what's up?
The second option would be getting invited into these private hotel rooms where somebody claiming to be a professional water light user would perform the procedure on you. Now, doing it yourself at home was simple and totally safe, okay? What could go wrong? First, people bought the water light injection package from these WeChat vendors. Mind you, all of these were marketed as cheap, and in a pool of discounts, you pick the best deal. But a lot of these products coming from these WeChat vendors, things like the filler ingredients, the syringes themselves, it usually comes from these underground workshops without licenses. Some of these sellers would advertise their products as being imported from South Korea, because obviously, if you put Korean on any of the packaging, it automatically gives it plus 10 credibility points. And once people receive their water light injection package, they were
Like, what is the possibility or the probability that these needles, these syringes are not being used in South Korea and washed and then sent to China and then they claim that it's credible or just increases the credibility? Like, what are the odds?
we're ready to begin. First, you cleanse your face, take the device, install the needles, and then you begin stamping it across your entire face. And how much stamping are we talking about? If you want the desired effect, 10,000 needle punctures every single day. 10,000.
10,000 is crazy.
You're repeatedly creating these tiny punctures across your face so the liquid can enter through all of those openings and be absorbed. Yeah, your skin barrier is screaming for help. And there's another problem. Because the surface of your skin is being left with wounds after these water light injections, the skin can actually become extremely dry because all the moisture is just gone. Which is kind of insane when you realize the whole reason people started doing this is so that their skin becomes more hydrated. So after somebody has finished stamping the needle gun across their entire face, they're supposed to put cream on and let
It's so weird that in China, these beauty trends are not limited to only women, okay? If you go to the place like America, the UK, Europe, and all of these places, or Africa, for example, you have the BBL trend, you have the lips trend, you have the Botox trend. Men don't really care, except you're in between decisions, quote unquote, the LGBTQ community member. But if you're not in between decisions, men don't care. But in China, men are influencers actually popularizing this kind of things. They're doing competitions with women who is going to do it faster, who's going to do it more. I've seen men in these videos selling the products that they are using to actually ensure that these procedures are done. So what's up?
the skin recover. But after a couple weeks gone by, people started noticing something strange. Those stamping marks, yeah, they didn't disappear. At first, the marks might settle down and appear to be improving, but they started coming back. Except now, they started getting bigger and bigger, also spreading across your entire face, and they started darkening as well. And real quick, doom scrolling on Chinese social media all day and traveling, it took me almost a year to find a doctor. I just kept delaying it and I got this really bad eyesore. Like, I needed a doctor, but I had no idea where to turn, so I was just lost. I was just Googling random clinics. This is where today's sponsor,
Oh,
ZocDoc, comes in.
I
ZocDoc
was
is a free
lost for a
website that helps you
second
find and
until I
book quality
figured this is
doctors
an
near
ad.
you. You just go on providers across 200 plus specialties. Thanks so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring this video. Slowly, those tiny marks started turning into dots, and it kind of looked like acne in a way. Then the dots start spreading more, becoming larger, and some of them even started becoming bumps. Not only that, but it became painful, like sensitive to the touch, accompanied by a burning sensation.
Like they look like pimples that will stay there forever before you can even bump them and have them leave your face.
Uncontrollable itching. And in some cases, the reaction didn't just stay on the face. It started spreading down to your neck. And there's actually a name for what these people were experiencing: granulomas. These granulomas develop a reaction due to the water-like gun and the liquids being in
What was that? It looks so disgusting. I don't even want to look at it. Damn. Why?
injected. Those who were experiencing this found out that these questionable ingredients inside the gun actually contained cross-linking agents, meaning it was a mixture of multiple cosmetic fillers all into one potion. Things like hyaluronic acid, collagen, Botox, all mixed into one bottle so that nobody could find out what the original source was. Yeah, just throw whatever you can in there, whip it up like a smoothie. If anything, this is considered a great deal. You get the best of both worlds.
But isn't there like a Chinese agency that cross checks some of these medical products, some of these beauty products? Because the way they create every now and then, the way they create a new product for beauty or all these beauty trends, it feels like they're not being cross checked, they're not being checkmated or checkmarked. How do you say it? because everybody's coming up with different products every single day that can actually be very dangerous to the health. But it just feels like they're not paying much attention to it, as long as they make the money. What about the agencies? What are they really doing?
焦虑死我，真的，上火，呼吸都是热的，每天真的顶着张脸，不下，蜡黄蜡黄的，脸都垮了，真的。休息也休息不好，真的，天天就这个脸，这皮皱癌肿不就相当于毁容一样？刚做完修复，敷个面膜，是不是给它整体白了？吓人不？加油！加油加油！
And in severe cases, the consequences can become much worse than severe bumps. If the mixture contained harsh and sensitive liquids, those bumps can become ulcers, and you can end up with facial paralysis. Also, bacteria introduces another big problem, since you're creating multiple holes.
You can experience facial paralysis and people still go ahead to do it even when they know the risks that are involved.
Holes in your face, you can easily end up with an infection or getting a skin disease. Remember, this was marketed as a non-invasive way that avoids plastic surgery. And it becomes more concerning once you know who was teaching these people how to do it. A huge amount of water light injection tutorials were being posted on Douyin and Xiaohongshu by influencers. Most of them also get commission when they invite you to these private WeChat forums to buy the equipment. Like, you go to the comments and somebody's like, drop that WeChat link. They also literally say that if bumps didn't appear after a water light injection, then the procedure was a waste of time. So according to this logic, the bigger the bumps, the better the effect. I mean, some of them were even teaching their fans how to treat skin diseases at home. Yeah, I think we've moved far, far away from skincare at this point. And there was one person who became victim to this at a beauty salon. And the craziest thing is, she was an employee of that salon. Take a look at a 32-year-old woman named Miss Chen who lived in Jiangsu province. Now, she was already working in the beauty industry, so she wasn't somebody unfamiliar with beauty treatments and injections. She was literally a beautician herself. She worked at a place called Young Aesthetic Space, which was a local beauty salon in Taichou. A beauty salon, so they only did hair, nails, that's it. Not qualified to do any injections at all. But while she was working
But they still go ahead to do injections.
there, she noticed that some of these regular customers were receiving these water light injections behind closed doors. Of course, as an employee, she couldn't say anything or do anything. She just let it happen. But she was curious. So one afternoon at the salon, business was pretty quiet. Randomly, the shop owner went up to Miss Chen and multiple other employees and was like, would you guys like to try some water light injections for free? Now, Miss Chen trusted her boss. She worked in the beauty industry herself, and she's seen many people getting these cosmetic injections done. And she was even more curious to see what the treatment would do because it's this new upcoming modern thing. So she agreed. And that day, her boss gave her more than 200 injection stamps on her face.
200 injections. You don't know how it feels for somebody like me who is afraid of injections, who is afraid of needles. 200 feels like you just want to unalive me. Just stop going through the corners. Just come very straightforward. If you want to give me even 50 injections on any part of my body, I would take it personal with you. I would take it that you just want to end my life. Because why would 200?
Employee benefits. After receiving the injections, Ms. Chen clocked out of work, went home, and just relaxed. And at approximately 3 a.m. on July 4th, just a couple days after, she woke up and something was seriously wrong. Her face was covered in these severe bumps. All these bumps were developing and growing out of her injection sites. And she was also experiencing uncontrollable itching. She immediately contacted the boss and he said, this was simply a normal allergic reaction. Don't worry about it. I have never heard of someone refer to a allergic reaction as normal. Ms. Chen said she was terrified.
Whenever you give a feedback to these companies that create this kind of products, the first thing that they always do is the same thing everywhere. They gaslight you. They make you feel like you don't know what you're saying. They make you feel like you didn't know about the possibilities of things not going perfectly, or they make it look like it's impossible for there to be consequences if things don't go as planned. Instead of welcoming you with an open arm and trying to figure out a way forward, they first deny you until you start going to the president. They start taking you seriously, and then it will already be late for them.
terrified, and her face was erupting in these raised bumps, and it also became extremely hot. But she was trusting her boss and just let it be. During this time, she didn't leave her house at all or tell any of her family members because it was too embarrassing. She kept contacting her boss, basically asking him every single day, "What is happening to me?" And every day she got the same answer. It's an allergic reaction. It will eventually improve by itself. Yes, just like when a person has a fever, every time white blood cells fight against foreign substances, they generate heat to eliminate the bad cells. Every time you feel burning or itching, it's your skin activating its own immune system to fight it off. And finally, on July 17th, 2 whole weeks after enduring this reaction with no help whatsoever, she finally traveled to Nanjing to see a doctor. At the hospital, the doctor took a tissue sample from her face and told her that because she waited way too long to get this checked out, those temporary bumps had become granulomas and they were now permanent. She didn't
Oh
wait
my
and delay
god.
treatment because she didn't care what was happening. It was because the person she trusted, her boss, kept reassuring her that everything was fine.
I would sue their ass if I was in a situation. I would sue her boss for millions of dollars.
So by the time she got this checked out, the treatment window had already passed. And for Miss Chen, this was devastating because she was 32 years old and her entire career was connected to the beauty industry. Her face literally affects her ability to continue doing her job. After returning home, she called her boss again and no response. She was ghosted. So she contacted the police and reported her boss to the authorities, saying that they were doing illegal medical practices. So that's when Miss Chen made all of this public in this interview, and now every time she goes out, she has to wear a mask on her face. Now,
But if things had gone very well for her, would she have reported it that there was an illegal business, illegal injections where they inject 200 syringes on your face? Would she have reported it? No. Because things didn't go well for her, then she wants to spoil the business of other people. People.
there's an absolutely ridiculous amount of uncertainty in this situation, but somehow this still isn't the sketchiest version of the Waterlight business model. At least Miss Chen knew where the salon was. Remember that second method I mentioned of achieving these Waterlight injections? Yeah. People started getting it privately done in hotel rooms by Waterlight professionals. And a person you've never met before
Even the name of the profession sounds very weird and strange.
is waiting there with the Waterlight gun, claiming that they're a freelance doctor. And by the time something goes wrong with your face, they're already in a different city. This is what started happening. People who used to work at those sketchy beauty salons who used counterfeit injections start shifting into a more underground model. Instead of staying inside one fixed salon and risking going to prison, they started doing contractor work as these so-called freelance doctors. And by freelance doctor, I mean some random person could literally just rent a hotel room, bring a Waterlight gun with them, and start
There's nothing like a freelance doctor. A freelance doctor might as well sound like a criminal trying to get your money from you, claiming to be a professional at the medical field. I've never heard a thing like a freelance doctor. Is that even a thing?
accepting clients. Very normal. This is what hotels were designed for, guys. These unnamed beauticians would operate out of these hotel rooms temporarily because they constantly changed locations for every new client. The person giving the injection could also be different every time.
First of all, the mobility of a medical worker would already say a lot about the medical worker themselves, because if they are mobile and there is no office, that should already be suspicious and very weird for you to even choose to work with them in the first place. They need to have an office, they need to have a hospital, a clinic, or a chemist where they have drugs they sell, or where they just work with some nurses or some doctors or some patients. If they are mobile without a particular office, then you should run for your life, because it's very clear as day that they're not authentic.
If it was a team. They also offer door-to-door service like Uber Eats. But instead of food, you're getting a mouthful
Uber
of needles.
Eats is
But
crazy.
here's the issue. You didn't know this person, nor where the injectable products came from, nor would you know any other details in that 10-minute session you had with them. And if you did start growing these bumps and getting granulomas, where do you find them? You don't.
I think the reason that people use this kind of people is because their prices will be much cheaper than the people that have offices. That's probably why most people would rather use this mobile freelance doctors and surgeons instead of going to a clinic or a hospital where you have professionals that are certified to actually operate on your face.
They're already in a different room with a different client in a different city, and maybe even with a different name. And there was one person who went undercover to show exactly how ridiculous these hotel room operations were. This one was in Hong Kong. There was recently a man who was exposed as being a fake doctor who secretly performed water light injections inside a Hong Kong hotel. And the whole thing was intentionally vague because the reporter called them, they gave the hotel address, but they didn't give the hotel room number until 30 minutes before the procedure. Like, you can see how discreet and
That's very
careful they're
shady.
being. When the reporter entered the room, there were already 3 women inside, and the doctor said that they were 4th in line. So this wasn't even some private one-client appointment. People were already being queued. And now we arrive at my favorite part.
What happened to the hotel security? You can't just get a room and then have people queuing in front of your door to get this injection. Why didn't they just ask them, yo, what are you guys doing here? Where are you from? What are you looking for? And things like that.
The IV bag. Normally you have an IV bag stand like most medical operation rooms, but they didn't have one. So he improvised. He used a clothing hanger. What an absolute genius. An innovator. Listen, if this man wanted to,
You should give him a name, Innovative Freelance Medical Practitioner.
he could easily operate you while winning a game of Mahjong. Inside the room, the reporter also observed dozens of used and dirty syringes, along with large quantities of opened products being stored at room.
There's a very high chance that he's sharing some of these syringes with different people. So you might be getting this injection on your face, but at the same time, that won't be the only thing that you're getting. You might probably be getting some infections and some diseases as well.
Room temperature. And just like that, he wrapped up the job and was off to another district. Whatever happens to you happens. Once you look at the waterlight gun trend and these dots and bumps that start forming on people's faces, the whole idea of waterlight beauty is yet becoming another cosmetic tool that these influencers promote, causing everybody and their mother obsessing over it because it's different and it's the best new thing. And when something goes wrong, the person performing the procedure might already be gone before you can even figure out their name. So yeah, if you guys ever feel like your skin isn't hydrated or bright enough, a needle gun is not the way to go. Remember, moisturize, stay hydrated, and stay wet.
Moisturize, stay hydrated, and stay
So
wet,
YouTube
and your
just
face
doubled their requirements to get into the
will
park.
be smooth and clear, so that you wouldn't need to start injecting your face because you want to look 10 years younger. Just wash your face every morning with cold water. Have a, how do I say it? Have a very iced out cold water and use it to shower your face every single day, morning, afternoon, night, if possible. And then give it 6 months to 3 months, and you would have your face very, very clean. You'll be very shocked at how clean your face would be. So, all these injections just put yourself at risk and in your life in general. Imagine having the possibility of facial paralysis, and then you still go ahead to do it. Crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Great video by Wani. Let's move on.
Are you wet? Well, your skin is not wet enough, okay? It needs to be hydrated. It needs to be clean. And I've got just the thing for you. Recently, a new device has gained massive
Dudes are really
The obsession with acting rich. I feel like this is gonna be an interesting video. Let's go.
Act like they have motion in our current year. Acting rich
is a tale as old as time, and it's becoming more and more common every single year. With social media being a place about presentation and clout, you could really fake an entire lifestyle and people will believe you. Especially
Absolutely.
this year, man. This year, there's been a rise of people, quote unquote, LARPing as rich. Which in this context, people just use it as a term for people who act rich. They get into the entire role and everything. And with them, nothing is off limits. If somebody sees a Ferrari wheel, just the steering wheel in the store, they'll act like it's theirs and pose for a picture. They'll put their hand on it, show it off a little bit like it's theirs. Some methods of LARPing as a
You have to fake it till you make it.
rich person I've seen get crazy. You could literally look up plane footage on YouTube and just get some nice 4K resolution plane footage for your
In this time and age, people that are actually rich are trying to look very normal, and people that are not rich are trying to look very rich by every possible means that they are.
LARP video. You could really put anything on social media and people will believe it. Now, obviously, everybody posts highlights on social media. You know, they're gonna want to post their best moments in life. Nobody's gonna post themselves on the couch doom scrolling, being an absolute bum.
Social media has made people believe that life is only good. There are no bad times because most people only focus on posting the good times in their life. Nobody ever posts their struggles. Nobody posts the hard times, the adversities, and the times that things are going very bad in their lives. But you are even mocked when you are crying on camera. People would rather celebrate you sharing a good news than support you crying on camera. They would mock you for turning on the camera and crying instead. It's just the reality of the social media life that we have now, and we can help it at the same time we can't really help it.
So fakes blend right in. There's many different things you could do. You could enter a private jet studio room and just start filming. You could get an Airbnb, a rental, get on a boat, get some water footage. But people will really get into the bit. As soon as people step foot into the Airbnb, they just start filming all their content and have made their first $1 million all of a sudden. Hey, you want to make your first million? I could be a coach. Look at the view. Look at the paddock. I'm $1 million man over here. So if you want me to get you $1 million,
Airbnb kind of encouraged or enabled these course bros that sell courses online. The moment, or this stock, no, it's not really course bros, it's the forex traders. The moment they get into a very expensive looking Airbnb, maybe with some luxury cars, they just run and they tell you, look, this is how I made $100,000 in one day and in a few hours. And you too can make that amount of money. And if you wanna make the same amount of money like me, click on the link in my bio, blah blah blah. That's this line that they always use. They tell you, click the moment I get that, click on the link in my bio. I just know that this is a bastard scammer.
buy my course, starting at $99.99 a month. Taxes included. Okay, they don't go like that, but it's just anonymous LARP footage. But they don't even show their face. It could just be someone else's LARP footage, man. People have been sharing around LARP footage around the internet. Now, how do people make LARPing into a career? Some people could do it for the status, which is true, just so everyone thinks they're winning. But there's a way people turn it into a career. They just become a fake guru in something. They just do a quick Google search and learn the basics of drop shipping, meme coin trading, crypto, even YouTube sometimes. And people will genuinely...
Forgive me, but till today I still don't understand what the hell is drop shipping. I still don't understand how it works. I still see people come up and say they bought a house with drop shipping, they bought a car with drop shipping. What the hell is drop shipping? Can you guys, like, does it mean that you don't have a product physically that you're selling or what? Or you just order some products from random places and then they send the product to another random place that you don't even know and then you get paid? Like, does anybody have an idea what drop shipping is? And I keep hearing people make a lot of money from it, but it's just very confusing to understand.
sell you a course with the most basic info. You could definitely feel ripped off after buying these courses. They are very underwhelming. They gatekeep all the information like it's the Krabby Patty formula, even though it's already free on the internet. Don't take any trending money-making method and turn it into a $50 per month course. Like, for example, somebody will just straight up become a YouTube guru after like 6 months of experience and they got like an AI channel to pop off. Like, no, sure, they got success, but that doesn't mean they're a guru. They don't know this shit like the...
Literally, the AI faceless channels are everywhere. I literally see them on Instagram, and most of them have very credible numbers of followers to actually show and make you believe them. They tell you, this month I made $5,000 from 4 different channels, and you're thinking, what am I doing with my life?
back of their hand. They're not a veteran by any means. Sure, you could probably learn some stuff from them, but people really act like it's a masterclass course. And if you don't even have the credibility, like for example, we'll use YouTube again, like a very successful channel, why are you selling a course if you don't even have that? I don't think I would ever buy a course, but hypothetically, if I was, I would believe the people that are succeeding and not the person that had a Claude AI channel for 6 months and now it's dead. And some people will even go to extreme lengths, such as faking their analytics to get you to buy their course. Like whether it's on Shopify, YouTube Studio, crypto.
I still don't understand how people are easily able to fake their analysis. I thought it was difficult. I thought it was one of those things that you couldn't actually edit out. But in recent times, I've noticed that people have. Is it because of AI? But I don't think you can do it by yourself. People have become very punctual and sneaky with editing analytics. That anything that they say, it makes them sound very believable because they show you, look, this is the proof, and you would have nothing to say the moment they're showing you the proof, and that's very sad.
Apps or whatever it is. And I've seen it happen before many times on TikTok. And the dashboard will just be doing zigzags and it'll just look completely weird compared to the original dashboard. Or gurus on Twitter will swear they have the method, but they'll just use other people's channels to sell their course. A channel that's not even theirs. Fake clothes. Reps? Oh, no. I buy the real shit. Okay, now let me stop trolling. Okay, but if you buy reps, don't act like you're this big baller rich dude. I think we can all agree on that. Because there will be dead ass people flexing fake Balenci on social media. Buddy will just hop on live, and the first thing he does is just flex the T. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I see the vision with reps. If you like the
I think the problem is that we are trying to look rich to the people who don't even know and to impress the people who don't even like. That's the craziest part. We are trying our best to look rich, not even for ourselves, but to impress people and make people have a positive opinion about us. That, yo, I know some rich guy, I know you're rich. Like literally, that's why we're doing it. Not even to give people money or to receive extra money, but we are doing all of this, acting rich, acting successful, because we want to have people perceive us at a very high standard, which I said in my last video that it's your status on the way you dress that makes people accord you some certain level of respect. It's the sad reality we live in, and that's the truth.
design and you don't want to pay an insane amount, you might just have to say fuck it sometimes. But don't act like it's the real authentic thing, especially if you buy a chain. You know what your biggest fear has to be? The diamond tester. Next, we gotta talk about crypto bros. Now, obviously, nothing is wrong if you want to invest a little bit in crypto. You can make a lot of money, but you could also lose it really fast. So knowing the right strategies is essential if you want to get into the crypto market.
These days, once you say you are into crypto, people actually assume or immediately assume that you've seen some very huge amounts of money, not knowing that crypto can actually be a form of you dealing with Dogecoin and you've been very broke all your life and you keep hoping that Bitcoin would actually fall to $1,000 again so that you can buy and then it will go back to $100,000. Everybody just hides around crypto now. Some people, they're very unemployed, but it's very easy to say, I'm into crypto. I'm a trader. I'm trading in Bitcoin and all of this. It's just to hide their laziness and unemployment. Sad.
But there's some people out there who just make crypto their entire personality or swear they're a crypto expert, even though the signs don't really look good. Now, I found this one guy in Starbucks trying to get random people to buy him a coffee, and in exchange, he said this.
Attention, Starbucks. I'd like to give one person the opportunity to buy me a coffee. In exchange, I'll sit down with you for 5 minutes to discuss my world-class crypto trading strategies.
Who are you? Why in the world should we believe you? First of all, what would make you think that people are really interested in knowing about your crypto? If you want to beg for a coffee, you don't need to go through the corners. Just come straight, come openly, beg for a coffee. If there's an opportunity for somebody to buy it for you, they would buy it for you. Which I think 80% of the time, most people there would have probably offered to buy him one because it's just coffee. But for 5 minutes of my time for me to explain crypto to you is all bullshit. Cut me the crap, Mr. Coffee Beggar.
Yep, 5 minutes. That's all it takes, guys. 5 minutes, and you're going up to the moon. That's it. All he needs is your coffee. Yeah, he needs your money, guys. If you had world-class crypto trading strategies, you would be buying me a coffee. I get it. Coaches don't play, I know. But wouldn't you think I would be the one getting the coffee if he had all these strategies to make money on crypto? This is why nobody went over raising their hands like, hey, yo, pick me, bro. Okay, no one would have done that regardless. He's in the middle of a Starbucks. Everybody just wants to get their coffee and leave. Now, he probably would have had a few people come up to him if he was at a business convention, and that's only if the offer was the other way around. He just made it sound like he was just trying to get a free coffee for the day. He didn't even establish credibility or anything. That's like the most important.
You, if I was there, I would look at him from head to toe, look at the shoes he's wearing, the clothes he's wearing, before I can decide maybe I should actually give him 5 minutes of my time. Not me getting his 5 minutes, but me giving him my 5 minutes after judging him based on how he dresses and based on how he's dressed and how he looks to know if he really can buy or afford a coffee, or if he's been truthful or just lying and trying to just get a free coffee.
Thing in business if you want people to listen to you. And as soon as, and you can literally look at the clip again, everybody just turned their heads away when he announced that a part of the bargain was that they had to buy him coffee. This course epidemic has gotten so bad that we got people gatekeeping 5 minutes of information on crypto behind a coffee. Obviously, I don't know this dude's achievements in crypto. Maybe
I've actually tried. I was so close to buying a course before, just because I was so convinced and brainwashed to. You will never understand if you're trying to learn how to probably grow on YouTube or one of these things. And as soon as you keep this goal in mind to like grow in one area of your life or trying to do one business, you get to that point when you would literally think the informations that these people are sharing to you are not available on the internet, but they're actually very free. You just need to know the right questions to ask. Okay, it's like setting up my OBS. It took me forever to set it up, but I asked the right questions and ChatGPT helped me out. Like I watched so many videos on YouTube. Some people make it very rigorous for you so that you'll be able to buy the simplicity in form of their course. And that's the sad part. Because of our laziness, they counter on that and sell us a course for something that is literally free on the internet.
maybe he has like a Miami mansion. But the way he pitched the deal, the signs don't really point in the right direction. Next, we gotta talk about people who think it's easy and they're just one step away from making millions. Now, you know, I'm all for ambition. I think everybody is. If you're an ambitious person, obviously that's different. You're working towards generational wealth. You're putting in the work and the hours to get there. But some people swear it's so easy to just print money just in the snap of a finger. They're gonna start a podcast, make an AI automated channel, do all these side hustles, start a drop shipping business, and then suddenly just be
I think probably trust fund babies are the ones that think it's easy, or just broke kids that have somebody pushing them somewhere, or people are just trying to build a brand around being rich, even though they're not actually very rich. These are the people that usually say, it's so easy, I can do it easy. In 6 months, I will do it, I'll have it done again.
become a billionaire overnight. Recently, I've seen a clip of this guy on my For You page saying that he was going to be the world's first 23-year-old billionaire.
Me because I'm gonna be the first 23-year-old billionaire.
And honestly, that hooked me. I'm like, holy shit, wait, really? That's you? I'm looking at him.
If I saw this, I would literally monitor his life for the rest of his life until he crosses 23. And if he's not a billionaire by 23, then I'll find out, insult his ass on the internet.
Right now, oh shit, you know, let's hear him out. Let's see what he's gonna do to get there. And then I watched the rest of the clip and just realized he was trolling.
I think if I drop ship and I do YouTube automation.
Dropship and YouTube automation, faceless channel, like this, they are all in the same community. They keep telling you about how to make money. They tell you how to make $5,000 every month. They tell you how to make faceless channels, talking about celebrity news, talking about sports, talking about this and that. And then at the end of all of this advice, they still tell you, just buy my course. I will show you how to make. If you were making a lot of this money, you will know. If you're making $5,000 respectively from 4 or 5 different channels, you will not be selling me a course of $100 or 99. They never say $100. They say 99.9999999. If you're making that much money, you would not be interested in selling me a course of even $200 because you feel like it's a waste of your time when you can easily just make more videos and make more money.
and that should, that should get me there.
This is definitely done as one of those clip farms on a dating show. Like, yes, this stuff can make you money, but not billions. Plus, if you pump out AI slop 50 videos a day, you might not even get monetized. It's a coin toss. Although this guy was trolling, this is the exact mindset I'm talking about. Some people genuinely move like this. Everyone swears they can dropship and make a ton of money. How do I know this? Because I had a corny phase of dropshipping myself. Okay, I gotta make fun of myself too. Now, did I think I was gonna get billions from this? Be able to dive in coin piles like Scrooge McDuck? No. But I did start a shitty TikTok dropshipping business. And I thought this was it. Yeah, I can't skate by this one. I can't even lie. So the story takes place August 20.
These dropshipping influencers can be very convincing. They will make you feel like you're missing out if you're not part of their community in doing dropshipping. They tell you there's a million people all over the world that are already doing dropshipping. And you keep thinking, why am I doing my 9 to 5 if I can easily work from home or from anywhere in the world and do my dropshipping? Not knowing that it's not as easy as they say it is. To just make you this kind of offer so that you just feel interested, they drag you in and they sell your cost.
22. It was a bright sunny day. Me and Birdie sitting on the couch. We saw the vision, the penthouse, the Lamborghini, the Manny thumbnail. That was us, man, in our minds. We saw someone's Shopify analytics and our jaws just dropped. And how do you think we did this, guys? Put your answers in the comments. How do you think we did it? Trick question. We didn't do shit. We got zeros. The success rate for dropshipping is like 1 to 5%, I think. So it can work for sure. That's not to say that it can't work at all, but just the mindset I had, man. I really thought I was gonna be in Miami the next day. I didn't even advertise the products or anything. Hell, the TikTok page got like 100 views probably. I just thought the results were gonna spawn in, I guess. And of course, weeks later, my friends were already cooking me. They knew exactly what I was doing with the product. Now, I did talk about this story in my corny phases video, but if you want to hear more corny phases that I went,
I think
corny phases we all.
I think acting rich, okay, is not entirely bad. It just has its advantages and disadvantages. Actually, acting rich can actually get you in a corner where you will become rich faster, okay? Except you are not hanging out in a place where there are rich people. If you act rich and still hang around broke people, you will look like a clown. You will look like you're just obsessed with acting rich while being broke. But if you are acting rich and you're spending your time, or you are always placing yourself in environments where there are rich people, there's a very high chance that acting will not only be your future, but the true reality of actually being very wealthy will be your reality. Great video. Let me know what you guys think. Don't just act rich. Be rich. Subscribe.
Dudes will really act like they have motion in our current year. Acting rich is a tale as
Feel a little bit tired. Trying to look for a video we can watch that is not so long, but honestly, I feel kind of tired already. How looks dictate your life? I totally agree that looks dictate your life. Looks dictate how people perceive you, how people look at you, and how people receive you in every new environment that you go to. Let's watch.
Out of these two, who do you think is named Bob? Most of you chose him.
I would literally choose the guy on the right, by the way, and I was wrong. I mean, I was right by choosing it, but I was wrong.
Statistic that beats pure chance. You see, before you understand how looks dictate your life, you first have to understand how your name influences your looks. Throughout your life, people assume that you have certain traits based solely on your name.
Is it not strange how some people's name actually fits them? We just assume that guy on the right is Bob because he looks like somebody whose name should be Bob. But it's actually very, very funny. Some people have some certain names that their name actually feels like it's from. I mean, I know they give people names from birth, but it feels like they are meant for that name. It feels like their body, their face, everything shapes them into becoming the person in that name. Okay. I don't think I'm crazy for thinking like this, but I actually think people always look like their names.
Bob is not the smartest nor the fittest, Bruce is strong and sharp, and Tim is more laid back. This seems like a harmless error, but this information about ourselves enters our subconscious mind, and we start to believe that this information is actually who we are. And that's why most of us adopt the facial expressions, hairstyles, clothing, and fitness conditions associated with our names. Now let's see how looks influence our lives. In 2018, Cameron Henron was arrested for killing a mother and her 1-year-old child while street racing. This created an outrage, but not for the mother and child. He became famous on TikTok, people started to call him innocent, and over 30,000 people signed a petition demanding his sentence be reduced. All of these because he looked cute. But then you start to wonder, how can so many people be so stupidly
So because he looked cute, he should get away with murder. We are so doomed as a nation.
deceived by someone's looks? In psychology, this is called the halo effect. Our brains see one positive
By the way, our ability to sign petitions for stupid shit should actually be stopped. Just because somebody looks good doesn't mean we should accept petitions from random strangers that are actually obsessed with the looks of a boy and then forget about his crime or even try to influence the trial or the decisions of the crimes he committed. Petitions should be limited to serious crimes, serious problems, not to these kind of problems that are filled with clowny fans of, of a boy that looks good, literally.
traits like good looks, and automatically assumes that it might be associated with other positive traits like kindness and innocence. But what other traits are attractive people assumed to have? Well, in 1973, a bunch of researchers wanted to test this correlation using one of the most objective situations possible: a teacher evaluating the academic potential of a child. So they took some 5th grade teachers and gave them identical report cards detailing a student's academic performance. The only difference was a tiny photograph attached to the corner of the report. Guess which kids were rated as having higher IQs, having better parent involvement, and having a greater future potential? Yep, the good-looking kids.
I totally disagree. I think if you go to a school, the good looking kids are not very intelligent. They're actually the stupid ones, and the weird looking eyeglasses, what do you call these boys that or these girls that look very weird? They look like they don't know anything. They look like they don't know what they're doing. They look like they're misplaced. They look like they are in the wrong environments with very strange and funny looking face. Those are the smart ones, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you can actually testify. The good looking ones they're just a bunch of stylists that come to school. They're very dumb. They pay their way up most of the time, and they're never that intelligent the way this video portrays them to be.
It might seem like good-looking people are invincible, but there are situations where being handsome can actually backfire. You see, in 1975, 2 researchers discovered something groundbreaking about the juridic system. When there was a crime unrelated to physical appearance, like burglary, attractive people received significantly lighter sentences than unattractive ones. But when there was a crime related to physical appearance, like swindling, the attractive people received harsher sentences faces than the unattractive ones. This is also known as the beauty penalty. When someone weaponizes their beauty, all of us start to hate that person more because they're attractive. Yet your facial attractiveness is not the only factor that influences your life. There's also your body attractiveness. You see, in 2004, some researchers wanted to test a simple question.
Yeah, the body attractiveness is also very, very, very important, but the face is more important. You can literally work on your body easily, but you can't just easily work on your facial attractiveness. If you don't look good, you don't look good. If you're handsome, you're handsome. If you're beautiful, you're beautiful. But if you're ugly, you're ugly.
How much of an unfair advantage does height really give you? Well, it seems like every additional inch of height above the average directly correlates to roughly $789 extra in annual earnings. Plus, for every inch of height above the average, you're also 2.5% more likely to get a managerial promotion. Now, apparently, this mostly applies to men. Women's earnings seem to not be that heavily affected by their height, but it's actually affected by their weight. Apparently, thinner white women earn 11% more per hour than their obese peers with identical roles. These percentages are slightly smaller for African American and Hispanic women. Now, when it comes to men, the situation is a bit trickier. While the overweight men are safe, the underweight men are the ones prone to financial.
When it comes to men, the handsomeness of a man does not depend on how he looks on his face, but how huge, how massive, how loud his bank account is. If his bank account is loud, massive, huge, then automatically he's attractive. Even though he's one of the ugliest people in the world physically, he becomes attractive the moment they realize that his bank account is very fat. Make money, my friend.
Financial penalties. Especially in blue-collar jobs, underweight men are perceived as lacking the strength and dominance necessary for leadership positions. That's why they're less likely to get promoted. Now, similar to the halo effect, there's also the horn effect. The brain notices one negative trait such as bald head, wrinkles, or crooked teeth, and subconsciously links it to other negative traits like low intelligence, untrustworthiness, or evilness. That's why you'll see that most
This is so wicked. So you can't be bowed and be at peace anymore. Now they're now trying to make bad people feel like they are wicked, they are dangerous, they are sneaky. Just come on. Having an open teeth shouldn't mean anything. Having a bald head should not mean anything. It's only natural. Having a wrinkly face should actually in no way or manner mean anything. It's natural. If you grow older, you start having wrinkles.
of the Hollywood villains have some kind of scars or ugly features that signals to our brain that they are evil. But you see, it's not always a big, ugly feature that makes people put us in the meaner category. Anatomically speaking, our face is made up of 43 different muscles. Just like going to the gym changes your body aesthetic, chronic emotional states work out your facial one. For example, chronically anxious or angry individuals overdevelop the corrugator muscles, aka the frowning muscles, leading to a heavier brow and permanent furrows. Basically, a meaner resting face. On the other hand, people who smile a lot develop these wrinkles near the eyes that give them a happy resting face. But is there a way to override the influence your looks have on your life? To find the answer, let's go back to 1537, when a small Spanish family had an unusually furry child. His name was Petrus, and he was cursed with a condition that caused thick and dense hair to grow all over his face and body. Because of his appearance, he was taken from his family and given to King Henry of France as a royal gift. In the eyes of the world, he was no more.
The discrimination back then was very brutal. They didn't care who you were, they didn't care how you were born. If you're different from them, they send you away.
Than a smart pet. But not for the king. He saw something more in Petrus, so he gave him the chance to prove himself. He offered him education in philosophy, manners, and foreign languages. And Petrus, he proved to be quite a student. He learned to speak 3 languages fluently and mastered royal etiquette. But despite his high intelligence and the honorific title of Don, people still misjudged him and dehumanized him because of his looks. up until he met Catherine. She was a simple maid of the queen, but she saw beyond his looks. She fell in love with his wit and character. Not long after they met, they married, had 6 children together, and their story inspired the famous tale, The Beauty and the Beast. Now, Petrus couldn't change his looks. Most of us are luckier than that. We're just
As a man, you can't really change your looks, but you can change your bank account. Don't forget that.
aware of our true attractiveness potential. Now, if you have no idea how to reach it, where to start, and what steps are really worth your time, don't worry. After going through 300 plus studies, I figured all these things out, so you don't have to lose your time doing it. Inside my community, I'll guide you on how to analyze your face, find your weak point, achieve your attractiveness potential, and ultimately get a girlfriend. If you want to hear more details, click on this video.
What do you guys think? Literally. What do you think? Do you think looks dictate your life? Looks dictate how successful you will be? Looks dictate the kind of relationship you would have with people and the kind of opportunities these relationships or this or the kind of opportunities this relationship can bring to you because you look good. Is it possible? Is it advisable to have this kind of mindset so that you can probably pay more attention to the way you look, the way you dress as a man and as a woman, so that understanding these things will let you know that you have a higher chance at succeeding in life just because of how you look. What do you guys think? Let me know. Great video, by the way. I'm gonna link his stuff to the channel like always. Anyway, guys, I feel very tired. I feel very sleepy. I had a game today. I think it will be a very good place to actually end the stream today. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow in the next stream. Let me rest a little bit, please. I did not commit a crime. Let me just rest. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. By the way, Cristiano Ronaldo is married now, and he said that this year might be his last year in football. I really, really hope not. He has about 24 games to get to 1,000 goals and more. I just can't imagine life here without Cristiano Ronaldo in football. But let's see how long and how soon this hope and dream will last. See you.